Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar on surface disinfection today. We are nearing the top of the hour and we will begin the presentation shortly. We'll just wait a minute or two longer to let anyone else who plans to join to jump on.
All right, good morning or good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for another Metrex Webinar Wednesday. Today's Webinar Wednesday is called Choosing the Right Surface Disinfectant. My name is Cheryl Madamba, and we'll be presenting this because we have a lot of questions about surface disinfection. We receive a lot of inquiries about our surface disinfectant products and what makes a good surface disinfectant in general. And so we hope to answer some of those questions for you today with this presentation. Some notes before we begin. You are on mute. The entire audience is on mute so as not to create any background noise. However, there is the chat function available to you. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to go ahead and jot them in the chat box there. I have my associate Grace also with us on the line, and she will be jotting down your questions. And at the end of the webinar, we will have a live Q&A where we take a look at all of those questions and get you some answers. All right. With that, let's go ahead and begin the presentation. So every Metrex webinar Wednesday and every Metrex presentation, we love to start with our belief, vision, and mission here at Metrex. So our belief here at Metrex is that no one, no patient, no staff, no family visitor should ever have to fight for their health over an infection they didn't have when they entered a healthcare facility. Our vision for the future is a world without any preventable HAIs or healthcare-associated infections. Our mission here at Metrex, as we work towards this vision for the future, is that Metrex will protect people by working tirelessly to support healthcare professionals in the fight against HAIs, so focus can remain on the most important thing, which is always getting the patient better. The three pillars of our mission here at Metrex are our people, our team here at Metrex that lead with integrity and knowledge, our quality products built from customer needs, and our Metrex partnerships. And that's partnerships with people like you here listening to this webinar and taking time out of your day to get some education in this combined fight against HAIs. What you'll learn on today's webinar includes some information about COVID-19 and surface disinfection. We know this is a hot topic right now, and we can't talk about surface disinfection without talking about our emerging pathogens. We'll also talk about the 6 key factors to consider when choosing a surface disinfectant. You'll learn about chemistry comparisons and the pros and cons of different active ingredients found in surface disinfectants. Then we'll talk about our Metrex brand of surface disinfectants, which is our CaviLife's family of products. And then we'll end the webinar by talking about how to combat surface disinfectant residue in your facility. So first point of clarification here when talking about COVID-19 and coronavirus is terminology. So the novel coronavirus discovered in Wuhan, China last year was named SARS-CoV-2. So this is the name of the virus itself, the pathogen we want to kill. COVID-19 was the name given to the disease, the illness you get from SARS-CoV-2. SARS-CoV-2 is an enveloped virus that is part of the coronavirus family that includes SARS from 2003 and MERS. The disease COVID-19 has been compared a lot with the flu. In the disease's earlier months here in the US, in February in particular, you often heard people saying, COVID-19 is just a bad flu. Metrex has done a great job providing educational content on Metrex.com, including an infographic providing all the reasons why COVID-19 is not a bad flu. Facts and figures like comparing incubation times and R0 values make it clear that COVID-19 is in a class of its own. Concerns about SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19 have really brought renewed stringency for infection prevention and our topic for today's webinar, which is surface disinfection. Why is surface disinfection critical, not only when we're talking about COVID-19, but always, especially in healthcare? Well, healthcare surfaces are often contaminated with pathogens that can serve as a vessel for cross-contamination. Pathogens can survive on these surfaces for lengthy periods of time. If you take a look at the chart on the bottom left of your screen, you can see the survival rate of many common healthcare pathogens if left undisturbed on surfaces. You can see E. coli can last up to 16 months, while Klebsiella can last up to 30 months, and so on. If you take a look at the modes of cross-contamination at the top left, you can see that these pathogens on a contaminated surface can reach your susceptible patient via two routes. Either when a patient directly comes into contact with that contaminated surface, or when a healthcare worker touches a contaminated surface and fails to practice hand hygiene before touching a patient. Surface disinfection is needed to disrupt these pathogens and break the chain of infection, especially when hand hygiene compliance isn't guaranteed. Proper surface disinfection leads to fewer pathogens on surfaces, meaning fewer pathogens contaminating the hands of your staff and less chance of pathogens reaching your susceptible patient. Here we have a few more scary statistics regarding the impact of healthcare-associated infections, HAIs. On the left, you can see the 8 leading causes of death in the United States. HAIs are currently in the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, responsible for approximately 99,000 deaths annually. Number 3, chronic lower respiratory diseases, and number 8, flu and pneumonia, are also ranked up there. These are illnesses that can be transmitted via environmental surfaces. So surface disinfection can have an impact on 3 out of the 8 leading causes of death. The visual on the right shows what are projected to be the top causes of death in 2050 and their projected death tolls. At the top, antimicrobial resistant infections is projected to cause 10 million deaths globally in 2050. A shocking number that doesn't have to become a reality if we take it upon ourselves to better understand and implement surface disinfection in our healthcare environments. Although HAI rates can be tied to a variety of issues, we wanted to focus today on surface disinfection and review the 6 key factors that we believe are critical to consider when selecting a surface disinfectant. First of these key factors is broad spectrum efficacy. A broad spectrum product has efficacy against a spectrum of pathogens, including bacteria, viruses, fungi, and TB, which is the EPA's benchmark organism for hospital-grade disinfectants. Next, you'll want to note the quality of the efficacy claims over the quantity of claims. Just because a product has 100 claims doesn't mean that it has the clinically relevant claims that you need for your facility. Next factor to consider is cleaning properties. You cannot disinfect a surface if it hasn't been thoroughly cleaned, and you'll find that certain products will do a better job cleaning than others. Fourth in this list of 6 is contact time. A reasonable contact time ensures compliance and will help impact staff efficiency. The next factor to consider is compatibility and aesthetics. It's important to select a product with ingredients that are the right fit for the areas and environment in which they're being used. So no one wants negative patient surveys due to bad chemical odor or equipment possibly visibly damaging surfaces due to incompatibility. Last but not least, product safety is important to note when selecting a surface disinfectant. Is the product highly flammable? Does it require additional PPE? Are carcinogens present in the formula, etc.? Next, we want to take a look at pathogen resistance to disinfectants. The microorganism groups on the left are categorized from most resistant to disinfectants at the top to least resistant to disinfectants at the bottom. This idea of pathogen resistance is important to keep in mind when assessing the spectrum of efficacy of a disinfectant. As I mentioned, TB, or Mycobacterium tuberculosis, is the benchmark organism for intermediate level disinfection. This is because TB is a very difficult to kill pathogen. It's the second group from the top here. Coronaviruses, on the other hand, including SARS-CoV-2, are lipid viruses or enveloped viruses that are part of the group of microorganisms that have the least amount of resistance to chemical disinfectants. So on surfaces, coronaviruses like the one that caused COVID-19 are easy to kill. It's when that pathogen infects a human that we have a hard time finding treatment for at the moment. This is why it's so important to prevent infection and to disinfect surfaces. Before I leave this chart, I also want to touch on surface disinfection claims quality versus quantity. Pathogen resistance to disinfectants is a good hierarchy to keep in mind when you're looking at a product's efficacy list. When you're overwhelmed with dozens of claims, keep in mind how many of them are easy to kill, less resistant pathogens versus how many quality, difficult to kill pathogens are listed. As you're considering broad spectrum efficacy and claim quality versus quantity, another important step in understanding surface disinfection is knowing the difference between cleaning and disinfecting. A common belief is that surface cleaning and surface disinfection are synonymous. These two terms represent unique and independent functions. Cleaning represents the removal of visible soil contamination and gross debris from surfaces. Disinfection, on the other hand, is the process used to kill infectious organisms on these surfaces with the intent of preventing cross-contamination. Cleaning precedes disinfection, as recommended by the CDC, and is mandated prior to disinfection in the presence of bloodborne pathogens. In order to disinfect a surface, the disinfectant chemical must be in direct contact with the surface without interference. Soils and gross debris like blood and mucus that we see in the clinical setting can act as a barrier for the disinfectant and inadvertently protect pathogens living on the surface. This is why it's critical to be aware of your surface disinfectant's ability to clean as well as disinfect. Metrex conducted an internal cleaning evaluation, as you can see here. Blood-based fatty soils were applied to stainless steel test coupons. The soil was allowed to dry, and the coupons were then subjected to a standardized soil removal protocol. A machine applying controlled weight, pressure, and speed used various disinfecting wipes to attempt to clean the dirty test coupons. And here were the results. CaviWipes 1 and CaviWipes, shown at the top, exhibited good soil removal. One wipe with the machine successfully removed the soil from the surfaces of the test coupon, leaving the stainless steel clean. Wipe products A, B, and C exhibited poor soil removal in the study. The high and intermediate content of alcohol, the 63%, 55%, 42% alcohol, in these products caused the proteins in the blood-based soil to affix onto the test coupons. CaviWipes and CaviWipes 1, with their lower alcohol content of 17% and 22% respectively, along with product D, which was the hydrogen peroxide-based product, did not exhibit the same concern as the higher alcohol products. So disinfectant products not only need to disinfect well, they should clean well. This is why cleaning properties are one of the 6 key factors for choosing a surface disinfectant. Next, let's discuss contact time. Contact time is the length of time that a disinfectant must remain visibly wet to achieve efficacy. Most hospital-grade disinfectants today have contact times that range from 1 minute to 10 minutes. A long contact time is not practical for disinfection. It's not feasible to ask staff to wipe a surface with a 10-minute product and wait the full 10 minutes ready to reapply product should the surface start to dry up early. By law, users must follow EPA-approved instructions, so adhering to the full length of the contact time is required. Drying speed varies depending on the environment, so it's important to decide for your own facility which products have the right contact times for you. Now on to compatibility and aesthetics. I believe this is one of the most complex parts of surface disinfection for healthcare facilities. There are thousands of devices, materials, and objects that require disinfection in your facility, and it's important to consult the manufacturer IFU for each item to review the recommended cleaning and disinfection protocols. The trouble is, an operating room alone could have 100 devices calling for 15 different surface disinfectants. It's a huge headache. We wanted to share this chart of common materials and the chemistries they're often compatible with. So to use this chart, take a look through your facility and identify the most common environmental surface materials. Do you have a facility with a lot of beds that are made with naga hide? This is a material that is often recommending low alcohol quat or low pH hydrogen peroxide products. Do you have quartz countertops? If so, you're in luck because quartz is compatible with a variety of chemistries. If you have acrylic countertops, on the other hand, you might want to limit your surface disinfection selection to low alcohol quat to prolong the life and maintain the aesthetics of your acrylic countertops. In reviewing IFUs, you may also find specific dilution ratios called out. For example, some devices will specify that a 1 to 10 bleach dilution ratio is recommended for disinfection. This doesn't mean that any bleach will do. Users must pay attention to the specific dilution ratios called out by manufacturers. Next, I'd like to play a short video for you regarding safety.
Hooked after your town. Now let's talk about the flammability of both cabbie wipes and competitor wipes.
Cabbie wipes
Does not catch on fire.
Nope.
That's due to the low alcohol content.
and
Excellent.
special substrate.
Okay, and now the competitor. Instantly catches on fire.
Hi.
Wow. It's clear that you definitely want something that's not flammable inside your operatory.
Next, I want to talk about the different chemistry comparisons of surface disinfectants. So I'll start by saying there's no perfect surface disinfectant product that exists on the market today. We wanted to walk you through 6 common active ingredients and highlight some advantages and disadvantages of each. We're starting here with high alcohol quat, low alcohol quat, and quat-based alcohol-free formulas. So on the left here, you can see high alcohol quat often is broad spectrum, including non-enveloped viruses, and often has short contact times. However, as we saw in our cleaning study and in various literature, high alcohol quat is often not an effective cleaner, and the high alcohol content often leads to protein fixation. High alcohol quat products may also dry prior to contact time due to the high alcohol content and the quick evaporation of alcohol. Alcohol may also damage equipment, especially plastics, drying them up and cracking them. Low alcohol quat products are typically effective cleaners, as we have seen. They often demonstrate good material compatibility and are likely to remain wet for the required contact time. Low alcohol quat products, however, may be less efficacious against non-enveloped viruses. Alcohol-free products are often broad spectrum and compatible with alcohol-sensitive materials and devices. Alcohol-free products, however, often leave residue and may be less efficacious against non-enveloped viruses. Next, we have hydrogen peroxide, bleach, and phenol. Hydrogen peroxide formulas are often effective cleaners and include broad spectrum efficacy, including non-enveloped viruses. Hydrogen peroxide products, however, often have low pH, which can contribute to material compatibility issues. Some formulas are known to interfere with glucometer readings, and some formulations may leave residue. Bleach products are often sporicidal with efficacy against C. diff. They have broad spectrum efficacy and are recommended by the CDC for use on emerging pathogens and during outbreak situations. Bleach, however, may leave residue, may discolor surfaces of equipment and your clothes, and may cause respiratory issues. Phenol is another less popular active ingredient. It's a less costly product usually. However, phenol is often considered a carcinogen, may have longer contact times up to 10 minutes long, and are not recommended for use in nurseries or NICUs. Those are 6 chemistries used in surface disinfection. Next, we'll take a look at surface disinfectant products we have here at Metrex. So here we see our CaviWipes family of products, CaviWipes 1, and CaviWipes Bleach. We'll start with CaviWipes 1 and Cavicide 1 here on the left. These are our 1-minute products, so the contact time of 1 minute. The chemistry is a low alcohol quat formula that includes tuberculocidal, bactericidal, virucidal, and pathogenic fungi efficacy. CaviWipes 1 and Cavicide 1 are excellent cleaners and disinfectants, being that they are that low alcohol quat chemistry. It has a fast contact time of 1 minute and is non-carcinogenic. CaviWipes and Cavicide, our classic formula here in the middle, is our 3-minute product. It is also low alcohol quat with tuberculocidal, bactericidal, virucidal, and fungicidal efficacy. CaviWipes and Cavicide are excellent cleaners, again, low alcohol quat product, with proven material compatibility. They are also non-carcinogenic. CaviWipes Bleach, our newest formula here on the right, is a 3-minute bleach wipe. It has sodium hypochlorite bleach and sporicidal, tuberculocidal, bactericidal, virucidal, fungicidal, and mildewicidal efficacy. CaviWipes Bleach is effective against all 6 escape pathogens and 3 CDC urgent threat microorganisms. CaviWipes Bleach has also been shown to have low odor. There is no PPE required for use of the product, and CaviWipes Bleach are non-carcinogenic. CaviWipes Bleach is recommended for terminal cleaning, outbreaks, and when C. diff spores are present, and any disinfection that requires a 1:10 bleach dilution ratio. CaviWipes Bleach would be appropriate. In general, products with faster contact times consist of more aggressive formulas that may be aggressive on your equipment surfaces as well. So CaviWipes 1 is a great product if you're looking for that faster contact time, but if you're looking for a surface disinfectant that will be gentler on your devices and prolong equipment life, a less aggressive 3-minute product like CaviWipes is a great option as well. Both CaviWipes 1 and CaviWipes are used for environmental cleaning and disinfection of non-critical medical devices and instruments. C. diff has a special call-out for sporicidal bleach disinfection because C. diff is the leading killer when it comes to HAIs in the United States. It causes more deaths than any other HAI-inducing pathogen. So when you sense the presence of C. diff, it's important to get rid of those spores with bleach. To further discuss when to use bleach, take a look at the visual presented here. This tree diagram shows bleach should be used in outbreaks, isolation cases involving Candida auris, C. diff, norovirus, and again, if patients are even experiencing even just symptoms of C. diff. Do you want to spend some time talking about what kills SARS-CoV-2? So all coronavirus strains are enveloped viral particles that belong to the same virus family, which is that coronavirus family. Enveloped viral particles are typically more susceptible to chemical disinfectant formulas than other pathogens are. We saw this in our pathogen resistance to disinfectants chart. Prior to 2020, however, there was no EPA-recognized test protocol to evaluate disinfection efficacy against this specific novel coronavirus strain, SARS-CoV-2, which causes COVID-19. Because of the necessary review period for EPA-approved label claims, there is currently, as of today, no EPA-registered surface disinfectant that bears a label claim against the specific novel coronavirus strain, SARS-CoV-2. That being said, what is recommended by the CDC to actually use during this time? The CDC's interim recommendations for infection prevention state that the use of an EPA-registered hospital-grade disinfectant is appropriate for SARS-CoV-2 in the healthcare setting. The CDC also refers to EPA's List N. That list is EPA's list for emerging viral pathogens and human coronavirus claims for use against SARS-CoV-2. This list is actively being updated by the EPA to include additional disinfectants that meet the EPA's criteria, and the link to that EPA List N can be found here. The following Metrex products can be found on List N. It includes Cavicide, Cavicide 1, CaviWipes 1, and CaviWipes Bleach. The last topic we want to cover is surface disinfectant residue. Nearly all surface disinfectants, regardless of chemistry, leave some type of residue. So this can be bleach, hydrogen peroxide, quat, phenol. The residue left behind by consistent disinfection can persist on surfaces for a long time and eventually cause damage to the surfaces. This layer of residue may even have the potential to promote bacterial adhesion and compromise disinfection over time. So what can you do to combat surface disinfectant residue in your facilities? First, you want to choose the appropriate surface disinfectant for your equipment, taking all the factors that we talked about. Next, you want to examine your equipment surfaces regularly. Lastly, you'll want to follow a wipe down procedure. This is a procedure recommended by disinfectant manufacturers like us and many equipment manufacturers and infection preventionists as well. The wipe down procedure involves wiping equipment with a damp cloth or paper towel daily or weekly, depending on your facility, in order to remove residue and prevent potential staining, drying, cracking of surfaces and equipment. The frequency with which you do this wipe down procedure is up to you and your facility. If disinfection is occurring 20 times a day for a particular piece of equipment, a daily wipe down procedure for equipment maintenance may be appropriate. If a surface is disinfected, say, fewer than 5 times a day, a weekly environmental wipe down may be more in order. It's important to note that if you choose to do a wipe down procedure immediately following disinfection each and every time, you must allow the disinfectant to reach its contact time before wiping equipment with a damp cloth or paper towel. Bleach is well known to leave white salt residue behind after disinfection, and some facilities choose to follow disinfection with a damp cloth wipe down each time they disinfect. This is fine as long as disinfection is completed first with the full disinfectant contact time. Before I go, I want to inform you all about some support materials we have to offer you. First, we have these placards shown here. They can be attached to your equipment throughout your facility, showing which disinfectant should be used for each piece of equipment and also noting the proper contact time for the disinfectant. These can come in handy for Joint Commission inspections when the inspector is grilling your survey about disinfection protocol. You can get these visual cue cards by contacting your local Metrex sales rep. In addition to those visual cue cards or instruction cards, we have various wall charts available, again from your Metrex sales rep. You can also go to our website, metrex.com, to see all the material we have available for you and distribute them to your staff if you'd like. That's it for our Choosing the Right Surface Disinfectant presentation. Before we take a look at your questions from the chat, I want to thank you all for watching another Metrex Webinar Wednesday. Next week, we will have a free virtual infection prevention symposium sponsored by Metrex. This is a 3-day virtual symposium where you will have the opportunity to gain 6 CE units free of charge. Please see metrex.com to learn more and to sign up. Now I have Metrex Marketing Manager Jessica Williams on the call with me. Jessica, do we have any questions from the audience?
Hi, Cheryl. We do have a question that came in. The question is, does the CaviWipes bleach have activity against dormant spores within 3 minutes?
All right, yes, yeah, that's a good question. CaviWipes bleach sporicidal claim is a sporicidal claim for 3 minutes with a 3-minute contact time. So yes, CaviWipes bleach does kill spores within 3 minutes. There is no faster bleach wipe on the market.
Okay, and we have another question. So only CaviWipes 1 is on list in for COVID-2, but not CaviWipes is the question.
Thank you for that question. That is not correct, actually. CaviWipes is on EPA's list N for use against SARS-CoV-2. So CaviWipes and CaviWipes 1 and CaviWipes bleach, all 3 wipe products are on EPA's list N, and all the Metrex surface disinfectant liquids are also on list N. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, let's see here. It looks like those are the, oh, I do have a question about product availability.
Product availability, yes. So Metrex does not sell direct to anyone. We do sell through our distribution channel, our distribution partners. So we have, of course, been seeing a huge demand and have been on back order for a few of our surface disinfectant products specifically since COVID-19 hit. However, we have been increasing production capacity massively in these past few months and have been seeing our lead times get better and better. I can't quote you on a specific lead time for even any specific SKU because it all depends on your distribution partner, who you're purchasing from, your dealer.
Great, and that answers another question that just came in about lead times. So thank you for proactively answering that one. And let me see, we have others. Looks like we also have a question on forecasting back to normal, which I think you addressed as well in your last answer, Cheryl.
Yeah, it's difficult to forecast when we can't really forecast what COVID-19 is going to do, what the expectations of the changes that COVID-19 is making for the healthcare environment. If you could forecast how many new cases of COVID-19 and how much your increase will demand in the next few months, then your dealer might be able to help you plan for that. But just as it's difficult for healthcare facilities to know what's coming in, it's difficult for us to know what our demand is going to be in these uncertain times.
Yeah, great answer. I also have a question. Will we get a copy of this slide deck?
Yes, so you'll get quite a few resources for joining us today. You'll have a post-webinar email that will include some surface disinfectant resources from Metrex, including this presentation slide deck.
Right. And that looks like the total questions that we have received so far. I do not see any new ones that have come in.
All right. For those of you who may have more questions, may be too shy to ask, please feel free to reach out to your Metrex sales rep. They are great resources available to you. You can also reach me or Jessica or sign up for another Metrex webinar Wednesday. We're all available here for you, and we hope you join us next week for our virtual symposium. We're really excited for our virtual infection prevention symposium. Thank you all for joining today.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.